any group or business, no matter how unique or unusual. They'll accommodate your vision for an event no one will soon forget.
Start planning your tournament today at their beautifully landscaped course on the outskirts of West Edmonton. On-site event coordinators are here to help, but hurry, availability is limited and booking fast.
Visit theranchgolf.com.
Summer, it's coming. An unstoppable force that will turn your home into the Sweatbox.
Don't live in a summer blockbuster. Pro Solutions is your one-call-solves-it-all expert for AC repairs, tune-ups, and new installations. With fast appointments and flexible financing, we'll make sure your home story has a comfortable ending. AC season is coming soon, so book today.
Lock in pre-season pricing today.
Visit prosolutionsinc.ca to schedule your service today.
Start thinking spring road trips and off-road trips in your new Subaru Crosstrek. Stylish, rugged, and so many features. Standard on every Crosstrek. Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive, EyeSight driver assist technology, heated seats, and LED steering responsive headlights. Plus, with interest rates from 0.99%, you'll love the affordable weekly payments. No waiting, immediate delivery available. Subaru Crosstrek. Visit Subaru.ca. Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru.
Whether you're refinancing or buying your first home, mortgages are easier with help from a neighbor. At Vision Credit Union, you get face-to-face guidance from local lenders who know the market because, well, they live here too. They'll look at your whole financial picture with practical advice for payments, renewals, refinancing, and what makes sense long-term. Get a more neighborly mortgage. Contact your branch today or visit visioncu.ca.
You haven't set your lineup yet, right? It's Fantasy Frenzy with Halley and Douglas on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
It's 11:02. Good morning. Thank you for joining us here on Fantasy Frenzy, brought to you by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, the home of Alberta's best beef jerky, online at wilhaukbeefjerky.com. Only available in Leduc. You go grab yourself a bag or two for your Wednesday evening adventures. Maybe you're going to be out on the slow pitch diamond with the Duke. Maybe you got the kids' soccer, baseball, whatever it might be. Go grab some beef jerky. Trust me, it'll make it a lot better. Connor, Halley, Brandon Douglas, Josh Fenwick with you here from the Sports 1440 studios in West Edmonton Mall. Lots to get to on the show today. Playoff hockey back at it. We've got conference finals beginning tonight. Avs and Golden Knights from Ball Arena in Denver, Colorado. Cale Makar, not going to play. Mark Stone, looks like he's not going to play. So both teams down a very big piece on their roster, but these are two of the best teams in the NHL. We'll see how they respond from it. In the association, last night, I would say pretty decent comeback. The New York Knicks. They outscored the Cavaliers 32-18 in the fourth quarter for the win. Brunson, 38 points in that one. Not too shabby. And then tonight, you've got game 2, Spurs and Thunder from OKC. Not going to say must win. But yeah, if you're the Thunder, you don't want to head back to San Antonio trailing 2-0. Major League Baseball, the Jays back in action once again, taking on the New York Yankees. They lost yesterday 5-4. They'll go at it once again. Trey Savage gets the call for the Bluebirds. 5:05 first pitch. We'll join that game in progress. So lots going on in the sporting world these days. The Edmonton Oilers still looking for a new head coach. Still waiting for permission. Other teams in the same boat. There's reports out there. Lots going on. As always, you can text us 1-833-401-1440 or send us an email. Connor at sports1440.ca, Brandon at sports1440.ca, and Josh at sports1440.ca. Brandon Douglas here as well. Duke, good morning. How you doing?
Morning, Connor. I'm doing all right. Looking forward to hockey resuming. The West Final dropping the puck. Should make for a dandy. I know, based on what I've seen, reading Declan's tweets in particular, amongst others, not giving Vegas much of a shot in this series.
No?
I'm not so sold.
Declan doesn't believe in them?
Well, I think Declan's tweet after the conclusion of Colorado and Minnesota said, thanks for coming out. Anaheim or Vegas 4-game sweep.
Declan loves sweeps.
I'm paraphrasing a little bit. Yeah. And then I even tweeted at Declan. It's like, didn't you learn your lesson last time? I believe he predicted the 4-game sweep for the Oilers in round number 1, a series they would go on to lose in 6. Didn't learn his lesson. He believes in only absolutes. Good teams and bad teams. You win 4 straight, you lose 4 straight. Those are the only possible options in playoff outcomes, according to the great Declan Kruger.
Listen, I don't hate it. You've got to have
He's bold.
beliefs, and yes, that's how you make it in this industry. Yeah, you're right. It's going to be fun tonight. The playoffs are the absolute best. We got a lot of them going on right now. We do have text here as well. Now, I will say, Playbook Vic actually emailed me a couple days ago. I forgot to reply till this morning, but he said, "Hey guys, when's the fantasy league starting up for football?" I said probably August, early September. We don't try to get too far ahead of these things. But Trev did send us a text today at 1-833-441-1440. Guys, who do you think will be the first players picked in NFL fantasy drafts for all of the offensive positions? So, Duke, I'll tell you mine. If it's me, I think I have to go Josh Allen at quarterback. At running back, toss up, but I'll take Jahmyr Gibbs. At receiver, it's another toss up because I think it could go a couple ways, but I'll take Jamar Chase. And then my tight end would have to be Trey McBride. Who do you have as yours?
I'm probably in lockstep with you across the board. Just for the sake of conversation, I'll deviate from Jamar Chase.
Mm-hmm.
Can we trust Joe Burrow to stay healthy?
Are you leaning Puka? The Emerald City
route artist. Reigning defensive player of the year. I'm going to go with Jackson Smith and Jigba. Listen, coming off a Super Bowl, offensive player of the year was his actual award that he won, despite what the trophy that the league sent him may indicate. I think that will push some people in his direction. I'm not going to say it's consensus, obviously. I think there's some conversation to be had at several different positions, particularly running back and wide receiver. I think the quarterback and tight end spots are a little more open and shut cases with very few exceptions. But yeah, you know what? I'll just say JSN. I'll say JSN.
Would have been a good pick last year, Duke.
I think you would have been looking pretty good if you were able to convince your co-manager to make that selection.
Should have pushed it a little harder.
Who did we take instead?
Scary Terry.
Oh, really good pick. Yeah, really good. Just to refresh my memory, did we win that league?
No.
Oh, yeah. I wonder why.
I feel like we might have with JSN, but you never really know.
Our chances would have likely increased for sure.
Jackson Smith the Jigba is like the most interesting guy when it comes to like people around him, not on his team. Like that, like you said, he wins Offensive Player of the Year. They send him the Defensive Player of the Year trophy. He gets a nickname for being like one of the best players in football, but it's a terrible nickname. And it doesn't just go away. Like people are calling him that now. Emerald City Route Artist.
The worst nickname in the history of sport.
They got to roll off the tongue. That one just ain't it. But I think those would be the guys that we would roll with. It's probably mostly consensus. You might take Bijan, receiver. There's probably some options. I think tight end Trey McBride is the guy. We'll see who his quarterbacks will end up being. Jacoby Brissett, finally kind of handed the keys to the car and now wants more money, it seems like. So we'll have to wait and see for sure. But I think those would be the guys. Hey, JF, did you happen to run into anyone you knew of my family on your trip to Peace River? Hope you had a good time. Aaron, yeah, as I guess probably well documented on a few shows, Josh Fenwick went up to the country this past weekend, Peace River. Did you run into anyone of his family up there?
I did not. He did text it. Yes. So he did text in on Friday, said, ask if anyone knows my family. No idea who the first people were. But I said, well, what about the Sismatas? And my lady goes, the Samatas? Yeah, they're very well known around here. They have a trucking company and stuff that's up in that area. So everybody knows. And she's like, yeah, I was taught by a Sismata in grade 2. So I went, this is all checks out. Exactly what he and I had texted back and forth on Friday and what we suspected.
All right. Well, there you go. Follow up from Trev. How about rookies, guys? I think Jeremiah Love would be consensus Duke. I don't know if you want to fight me on this one.
For number one, yeah, like if you're talking a dynasty draft or just the first rookie that'll be off the board, yeah, I think it will be Jeremiah Love. Drafting Love, particularly in dynasty or a keeper, I do think is more the long-term play because I don't know how much success he'll necessarily have in Arizona in year one. And as a result, maybe I, take my own words out of my mouth. Like if you're just in a redraft league, will he be the first rookie off the board? I'm not so sold because he's going to be RB1 seemingly, but how much success will he have? Could it be an Ashton Genty type situation, what we saw in Vegas last year where plays fine, but the overall production doesn't exactly knock your socks off? Could one of the receivers that maybe land in a more favorable spot, even a guy like Kenyon Sadiq in New York, quarterback situation is there is far from award winning, we would expect, but still seemingly a little bit better than maybe what Arizona is going to be rolling out this season.
Yeah. I mean, if it's keeper, a guy who I like a little bit lower down is Eli Stowers from Philly, tight end. I think that he's tight end one in the next couple of years here. Stowers, sorry. I believe from Vanderbilt, if I am correct. I think you could have like Carnell Tate, Tyson. Injury is going to be the question.
Like, is it, if you're in a redraft league, would it blow you away that Makar Lemon was the first rookie that's off the board?
Probably not. Going to you got to think Devontae's getting the bulk of the double teams. He probably wouldn't be my first pick. Like I would go with Jeremiah Love, but I have a bias towards running backs.
Yeah, you do.
I played fantasy football in the early 2000s. I can't stop. I always want to draft a running back early on.
And see, my inclination would be like Carnell Tate.
Yeah,
I think Tennessee is poised to take a little bit of a step forward, at least offensively. Cam Ward, year 2, did he learn enough of those hard lessons as a rookie? And they brought in some more offensive weapons to help him out, primarily in the form of the top drafted receiver. Yeah, I think Tate might have some production this year for sure.
Oh yeah, I think so. I thought Cam Ward made some really nice throws last year.
Oh, for sure. Like he has the pop plays, and that's kind of why he has jumped to number one in his year. Was like, all the tools are here. Can he put it together on a consistent enough basis? And it's tough to fault him when you look at what the rest of the Tennessee roster had to offer for the most part, and on both sides of the ball, I'm talking too. So I think some expected growth in year 2 could be a big jump overall for him.
Time will tell.
And then the rest of the offense kind of reaps the rewards of that as a result.
They're going to look so much better. They're
in the new unis.
Uniform rebrand is terrific.
Going more Houston.
Yeah. Houston fans might not love it, but it's a good look. Couple checks rolling in here. Titans says Makar out. That hurts, but he did not look good last game. Hopefully only needs a few more days to heal. Go Avs. They win in 6 from Titan. Yeah, I mean, my first thought is if he can miss this game after a few days off, he could miss game 2. Like it kind of gets to that situation. If they win, I would just be more comfortable playing without him. If they lose and you get desperate, like, Cale, we need you back out there, and someone tells me he'd be more than willing to gut it out. But yeah, it's certainly not great for them. But no, I think it was like IQ GMing, high IQ. Let's add Brett Kulak, a guy who's been there before, bringing in these depth pieces just in case. Because we said at the start of the playoffs, you need like 8 quality defensemen. You can't risk the injury and then not having someone out there who, can do what they can do, especially if you're the Colorado Avalanche and you have these huge aspirations to be Stanley Cup champions. Ontario Momes texting in. CH, don't you guys think it would have been smarter for 97 to sign a reasonable 4 or 5 year contract and still have all the same requests internally? The added pressure of a 2-year contract almost seems insurmountable, indirectly counterintuitive to making the environment easier to win. Literally every team is going to play extra hard because they want the chaos of 97 leaving the Oilers. It would be the same as a single smoking hot person telling the world they're going to be single in 2 years unless their house burns down. He would be roasting marshmallows 24/7. Well, but, and yes, teams surrounding the Oilers, in the next year and a half could be changing their game plan to have a package to acquire or sign him, have the cap space. But he could also just re-sign with the Oilers. So if you're banking on 97 becoming available in a couple of years and not worrying about the current moment, like it could all be for naught. Oilers go on a good run this year. Maybe Connor McDavid says, I'm back with the Oilers, but now I'm cashing in. I'm not doing that team-friendly thing anymore. There's too much for me to say for sure what exactly happens. Yeah, 100%. We would have loved to see Connor McDavid sign a 4 or 5 year deal. Heck, Draisaitl signed 8 years. That would have been great. He didn't. He signed 2 years, and he gave the Edmonton Oilers a lot of money to work with and try to build a contending team. What they do in this offseason is massive. But that's kind of going back to yesterday's if. Well, if he signed a 4 or 5 year deal, it would have been better. He didn't. He signed 2 years. He didn't rule out signing long-term afterwards, but that was what they felt comfortable doing. And foot to the fire for the Oilers. Figure it out. Gotta find a way to use that money and do it a little bit better. But yeah, I mean, to me, that's just kind of another scenario. What if? We'll take a break here. When we come back, more text 1-833-401-1440. It's Fantasy Frenzy, brought to you by Wilhauk Beef Jerky.
When life unexpectedly changes, it can leave us feeling unbalanced, uncertain, and unsure of how to move forward. But you don't have to go through it alone. I'm Corey Anderson with Fairway Divorce Solutions. Our team helps reestablish balance, guiding you through your divorce with compassion, clarity, and support. Fairway has helped more than 6,500 families across Canada find a path towards a peaceful, fair resolution. With 2 offices in Edmonton, we're here to make your journey easier. Discover your options at Fairway Divorce.
Action Electrical's projects team takes the field, folks. Ready to execute the entire play for new commercial builds.
Absolutely. They're masters of design, build, sketching strategy from initial blueprints to core electrical infrastructure. The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution, hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Hey there, I'm in the Fountain Tire sidecar, making a list of the things I'm doing this spring. 1. Saving you money, with up to 20% off select tires until June 13th. 2. Water skiing, tricky in a sidecar, but fun. And 3. Saving you more money, with mail-in rebates of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires and $50 off a $150 service with the purchase of 4 select tires. Oh, that's 4 things. Oh well, restrictions apply. Book online at fountaintire.com. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
Rivalries run deep in Alberta football.
Edmonton all the way.
Calgary rules.
But when it comes to the best snack for 3-down fun, there's no Battle of Alberta. It's a clear winner.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky.
The one thing every Alberta fan agrees on. So whether you're watching the game from your recliner or in the stands, make it a part of your game day.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky. Because you don't win games with salad. Only available in Leduc.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. No one's ever accused car shopping to be fun. I mean, think about it. Awkward standoffs to get a price. Let me go talk to my manager. Dealers asking for your credit card, then melting your phone if you say no. See, not fun. At Northgate, I promise you a different experience. We make it fun. And you will like us, I promise. 0% financing, a great selection of new and pre-owned units. So for some fun, stop in today. 13215 97th Street or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
When your project can't afford downtime, call Japa Equipment Rentals. From excavators and wheel loaders to compaction equipment, Japa has the machines you need. Trusted since 1972. Visit japaequipment.com or stop our Edmonton or Calgary locations.
Don't miss a moment of Blue Jays baseball this season. Join play-by-play announcer Ben Showman for the games live on Sports 1440. The Toronto Blue Jays are on Edmonton's home for all things sports. Sports 1440.
Your next great family adventure is just a raffle ticket away. Enter the Alberta Foster and Kinship Association's Great Family Adventure Raffle for your chance to win incredible prizes, including the first prize, a Sea-Doo pontoon cruise boat worth over $70,000. Every ticket sold helps provide vital resources to the everyday heroes raising children through some of life's hardest circumstances. Buy your tickets before the live draw on June 5th. Get yours at rafflebox.ca/raffle/the Great Family Adventure Raffle. License number 766115. Open to Alberta residents 18+ only.
There's nothing like a spring sunset by the lake. Oh, wait, that's a pothole. And that was a new truck.
Oh, what the
Springtime in Edmonton also means project time with help from Metal Supermarkets. Huge inventory cut to your precise requirements, plus metal bending, drilling, punching, notching, plasma cutting, welding, even delivery. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience stores for Southside, West End, metalsupermarkets.com.
Get the inside scoop for your team on Fantasy Frenzy with Halley and Douglas on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
It's 11:21. Welcome back to Fantasy Frenzy here on Sports 1440, brought to you by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, the home of Alberta's best beef jerky. Online, wilhaukbeefjerky.com. Connor Halley, Brandon Douglas, and Josh Fenwick with you here on Sports 1440, streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, Twitch. And I don't even know what we're watching right now, goals of the year, but it's just like, kind of miss watching Connor McDavid. He's just scoring a lot of beautiful goals right here. One on the Sharks. He just had one on the Jets. Was it Mammoth? Well, I guess I'm not watching that closely. I'm distracted by his grace. Oh, poke check. Fail. This segment for elksnation.ca, 2 weekly podcast with Eddie Steele, Declan Kruger, breaking down the green and gold, also articles. Go check it out, elksnation.ca. I know there's going to be doing some giveaways as well. So with the upcoming season, they're on the rise in this town. We heard season ticket sales going up. Now, of course, we knew it dropped off for a while, but picking back up. Fan Day, there was a ton of people out there. It's going to be a really exciting season, and make sure you join Declan Kruger and Eddie Steele twice a week. Audio, video, whatever you prefer. We got a text here coming in from Brandon. Hey, guys, how much cap space do the Oilers have going into next year with Connor's new deal and cap going up? Well, Connor's deal is the same, I do believe. The cap space, Duke can correct me if I'm wrong here. Are we going up to 95.5 mil? I believe so. It looks like the Oilers right now, and this is just with Puckpedia, it has them at 97. But let's jump to the proper next year. That's when the limit is $104 million. That's when it goes up. So the Edmonton Oilers are at 87. So what's that? 17 million? Now, who do we have to factor in here? Jake Wallman gets an increase. At the same time, though, you have Matthias Ekholm going down. Evan Bouchard? Does his jump up this year? Money the same. He was last year, first year of the contract. Okay. So the Oilers are in a pretty good spot. Middle of the pack. The Avalanche projected going into next year are at 101. That gives them a cap space, $2.98 million. Vegas Golden Knights, $4 million. Montreal Canadiens, $9 million. Dallas, $10 million. And the Edmonton Oilers, a little bit down there, $16.49 million. So I would say they're in a pretty good spot to make some moves.
Yeah, and I mean, currently, the forwards they have in their contract for next year are your top dogs: Draisaitl, McDavid, Hyman, Nuge, Trent Frederick, T.S. Janmark, and then Podkolzin and Szymanski and Savoy. So obviously going to need some money allocated to at least a few forwards. And then on the back end, Connor Murphy and Spencer Stastny both needing new deals. And keep in mind, Connor Murphy's deal had been half retained in the second half of this year. So $2.2 million player for a top four guy. I think you'd be pretty hard pressed to find that type of financial value again, whether it be free agent, trade, wherever.
Would you give him 4?
Connor Murphy?
4.4 even?
Yeah.
His last contract with the cap going up?
What? How many years? How much trade protection?
None.
then yeah, I would do that in a heartbeat.
You can't be doing that. You can't be handing those out like candy again.
Connor, is it crazy? Is it overreactionary, prisoner of the moment of what the Oilers have done past couple offseasons for me to say the Oilers should not be giving any trade protection in any deals that they ink this summer, whether that be new free agents, bringing players back. Like it's off the table.
I would agree. I would say yes. But at the same time, how much is that temptation? Like if you have a guy, you're like, okay, this guy could really help us, and this is what's preventing us from doing it. I get why GMs do it. Like just that extra thing to get the job done. Now, Duke, if you fast forward to the 2027-2028 season, Bouchard, no movement. Darnell Nurse has the 10 team. Matthias Ekholm, no movement. Wallman, no movement. So your top four are essentially locked in unless they waive. So if you give it to Connor Murphy too, all of a sudden there's 5 of 6. No movement clause. Like your back end is pretty much just locked in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With two of those guys being 35 plus.
Yeah.
If we're, we're projecting a potential Murphy extension that could carry trade protection. Now,
I'm less concerned if it's 3 years or less. The third year might be a little iffy.
The third year having trade protection on it would be tougher for me to swallow. I'm okay, I think, signing Connor Murphy to a 3-year extension with trade protection in the first year of it. Maybe 2.
I agree.
And that's with the caveat of also the price being what we're talking about, like keeping it down. Because at this point, based on what Connor Murphy did for the Oilers since coming over, playoffs in particular, like other teams notice that too, right? And you say, man, that was an impact player on a skillfully loaded team. He came in and really stabilized their top 4, brought a lot of value. If he were just to hit the open market, what do you think he could sign for? Like, is it crazy to say that he could actually get a raise for what he's making on a previous deal? With the way the cap's going up, I don't think that's crazy at all.
Cap's going up, desperate. No, I wouldn't say desperate, but a team that's like, we need a bona fide
a guy that can still chew some minutes. Like, he's not a top pairing guy, but can probably play 20 minutes a night still in a top 4, kill penalties very effectively. And like, he's not one dimensional. He's never going to be confused for, Evan Bouchard as a puck mover or with offensive acumen, but he can shoot the puck pretty well, makes an all right first pass. He's a good, decent skater. I think there would be teams lining up for services like that. Now, at this point in Connor Murphy's career, does he prioritize winning over financial reward? Gregor's talked about this a lot. Like he's made himself a pretty good chunk of change in his NHL career, which is surprisingly long at this point for a guy that has kind of flown under the radar for the vast majority of his time in the NHL. Coming back to Edmonton on a $4.5 million deal at 2 or 3 years. Yeah, I'd sign up for that 7 days a week and twice on Sunday.
I'm with you. And I kind of think that would play a role.
Would I sign up for a $4 million deal at 5 years? I'm not sure I would. Once again, with the understanding that is there any trade protection on the end of that too, where all of a sudden you're tied to it. That's where the Oilers have gotten themselves in trouble.
And I like we've talked about, like Connor Murphy, go back to where he's played, right? Like he hasn't had playoff success. So to me, from an outsider, not knowing anything, not having the Connor connection or anything, I would want to play in a market where I'm going to be in the playoffs. I think that'd be Edmonton. Also, his 2 goals, only Podkolzin and Draisaitl and Kapanen had more in that first round series, right? So like he chipped in when it mattered.
Yeah.
But to me, if I'm Connor Murphy, if I'm Jason Dickinson, I'm holding off. I'm not signing yet. Like
I think you're at least testing the waters.
Well, that's part of it, but also like you fired your coach. You don't have a coach right now.
That's a good point.
We don't know what the future holds. So I'm sitting on my hands. I'm telling my agent, you know what? Well, let's wait and see who they hire. And then maybe we talk.
Have a conversation.
But if not, I'm testing the water 100%. And I still might consider it because of just, what's going on here. You'd be silly not to. And we've seen it in the past, right? Like Evander Kane went in, talked to other teams, came back to Edmonton and signed. Like there was someone else. But yeah, to me, you got to bring him back. Braden says Murphy is too old. Move on.
What are you replacing him with?
For a couple of years, I don't think he is too old.
He's 33.
Yeah.
Once again, I'm very much against signing him to anything longer than 2 or 3 years. But in the short term, he makes your team better. That was very evident since he joined the club. He brings something that you do not have in your decor. Full stop.
1-833-414-1440. Stanley says, got to trade Frederick away. Well,
dream big.
I mean, that at this point, that's one of those deals that you trade it away, you're paying for someone to take it. You know what? The good news is, though, in 29, 2030, it turns into a modified 10-team list. But for the next 3 full seasons, he's got the anchor beside his name. No movement. Yeah, it's going to be a tough one, Duke. That's like one of those contracts I feel like everyone, and it wasn't that long ago, can remember where they were when they heard that number. And we're in disbelief, like, that makes no sense. Why would you do that? Isn't the cap up over 108? It was 104 next year, and then I believe after that it rises up. Because they had to release the numbers that the plan was for it to continually
upper
grow.
limit 104.
Yeah. I don't know if we can like jump ahead to the future, but I believe that's the direction it is set to go. Kyle Nails says McDavid was more than fair with his contract. I think everything he does is very well thought through. He's given the Oilers a chance to build a dynasty, and what I see with the response from the team's free agents, and most important, the fellas got at the deadline, this team will be a contender next year, even with the existing goaltending. We need to sign our free agents. Cannot disagree with any of that. Ontario Moan says, I want the Oilers to get aggressive, embrace the heel roll. Offer sheet Zach Benson from Buffalo, a reasonable contract. Just like the Blues did with Holloway. He's a very ratty middle six winger. Exactly what they need.
Fun idea, Ontario Moans. To make offer sheets, there is one very key ingredient you need, and that is the available compensatory draft picks. The Oilers do not have that. And any to make an offer that they would have the draft picks for, the Blues would, or the Sabres would match it in an instant.
Yeah, the Sabres right now, they'll be a solid $13 million below the cap for next season. I just want to quickly bring up who they have and any pieces they might be looking to sign. Now, Duke, I will say that name, love it. Heck of a player. They have Alex Tuck they have to worry about, obviously. He had $4.75 million last year. So I'm assuming he'll hope for a bit of a payday. Peyton Krebs, RFA. You've got Tanner Pearson. You could probably let walk. Beck Mallenstein. Their back end's pretty much set. I guess you got to decide what you want to do with Logan Stanley and Luke Shen, but you've got Darlene Power, Samuelson, Bowen Byram all locked up. Byram's a UFA after next season, though, so I guess you're going to have to decide what to do with that one. But yeah, I don't think that Benson's going to be getting out of Buffalo.
So if you're just using that specific example, Connor, for the Oilers, an offer sheet the Oilers could make would mean the 2027 second round pick, which would mean the upper end of that would be $4.7 million.
That's not going to get it done.
That's not going to get it done. I'm sorry. And you say, just like the Blues did to the Oilers. Well, if we rewind, that was smart by the Blues because the Oilers had painted themselves into a corner. Unless other teams do something similar here, and once again, it's very limited by the fact of how much draft capital the Oilers possess. You can't offer to pay a player anything more than $4.7 million because they don't have a first round pick next year. And more specifically, I should say, they don't have their own first round pick next year. So even in a world where you're getting, fantastical and saying the Oilers make a big trade that all of a sudden gets them a first round pick back, that still can't be used in offer sheets. The draft picks have to be your own.
I honestly think that was probably an eye-opening thing for a lot of GMs around the NHL. Like, okay, I got to take care of my RFAs. The Oilers, and as it was happening, maybe the Blues were watching, like, going back to July, because it wasn't until August when they actually, put the offer sheet out there. And at that point, the Oilers had spent so much money. Yeah, they could have made it work, but yeah, I don't know. I like the idea. I just don't think it would work in this situation. Oil Commander says, good morning, gents. Good morning, OC. Oilers will have some decent money to work with us, but imagine if Bowman didn't buckle under pressure and let Skinner finish his contract with the Oilers. Well, yeah. That's going to be one of those ones. It's not quite like the Griffin Reinhart trade, but to bring in a goalie that wasn't an upgrade, trade away Kulak, trade away a pick, and then have to pay that goalie for a few more years. That's one I think a lot of Oilers fans will look back upon and think, not ideal. Gritterman Jay says Murphy and Dickinson on the PK is like a Contra cheat code. I'd like to have him back for that reason, even though I'm not as familiar with it. 104 for this year, 113 next year. That's what was already announced from Not Fred. Thank you, Not Fred. Connor Murphy. The Oilers do need a shutdown D that plays top four. If they let him go, they let guys go, they need to try to keep him. I heard the most ridiculous one today. Peterson for Nurse.
Like Elias Pettersson?
What's up? Toby Peterson?
Bring him back.
The Pettersson for Nurse? Count me out, dude.
What does that solve for you? Get you a really expensive third-line center and takes away a top four defenseman, which you're already kind of hard up for? Yeah, I don't see that.
Now, what if he finds that 39 goal scorer touch playing Connor McDavid?
Then you look like a genius, I suppose. And I understand that I'm in the minority here, and it's almost kind of dumb of me at this point, but I am not ready to completely rule out a Elias Pettersson resurgence. I'm not sure he'll be a 100-point, 40-goal guy again, but should he end up getting traded somewhere and it's a change of scenery and the landing spot's right and it's a good situation, could he get back to being a player that is at least justifiable of a $10 million, or was he $11 million contract? That's tough to do, but we know that the price tag for all types of players is going up constantly, and you kind of sign that long-term contract with the expectation that it would eventually become a value one, not just a maybe justifiable one. I definitely don't think it's going to happen in Vancouver, even with this changing of the guard they're going to see. They're getting a new coach as well. Seems all but certain that it's going to be Manny Malhotra, I would think. But I definitely don't think that spot is in Edmonton.
11.6 is the hit.
Oh! Yikes.
10, 11, closer to 12.
Closer to 12. Wow.
Full no movement clause as well. So it's a risk to bring that one in.
I actually like this from Matt and Leduc. Maybe that guy meant the other Elias Pettersson.
Oh.
The D-man.
Well, you'd clear up some cap space, right?
You would. I'm not sure if Vancouver would be really interested in that. They like the other Elias Pettersson. And I'm saying this fully understanding that I know there are different pronunciations of each of their names, and I simply can't keep it straight. So I'm just going with the default on both. Same with the other, Marcus Pettersson. He's in the same camp. Sorry.
It's a tough gig to be the Vancouver Canucks play-by-play team.
Oh, couldn't imagine.
We'll take another break. When we come back, more text. We'll let you know what's coming up on the Lowdown with Low Tide and the Jason Gregor Show. It's Fantasy Frenzy, brought to you by Wilhock Beef Jerky.
Hear that? That's your entry calling. Go Auto is sending you to the biggest football event in the world, live in Vancouver, with tickets, flights, and a hotel stay for two. To enter the contest, just text GAME to 780-777-7777. That's GAME to 780 all sevens. Go Auto, get in the game.
Good to go. With Mortgages to Go, you'll be good to go. Mortgagestogo.ca says yes when the banks say no. That's why Alberta has trusted Mortgages to Go for over 23 years. If you need cash and have equity in your home, you're approved instantly, guaranteed. Call 1-888-888-5998. That's 1-888-888-5998. With Mortgages to Go, you'll say, good to go.
A lot of you love hockey season. But when it comes to construction season, you're not as excited unless you work for GS Construction. It's true. As one season is winding down, ours is winding up with all sorts of great projects to make the city we live in better. And our team is hiring. GS Construction is scouting for pipe layers, topmen, and heavy equipment operators. So if you want to score a great job, visit gsconstruction.ca today.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your supplier of maximum comfort, bringing you the cool AC you need. You just have to
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
for comfort at night when the hot air suffocates you.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
For comfort in your wallet with no payments or interest for 1 year.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
You deserve comfort. Cool off today with AC from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Summer in Alberta means baseball debates.
Okay, best ballpark snack. Gotta be popcorn.
Nah, it's nachos, hands down.
Nah, you're both wrong. It's mini donuts.
But when it comes to beef jerky, there's no argument.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky.
The only snack every fan agrees on. Grab some for your next ballpark outing.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky. Because you don't win games with salad. Only available in Leduc.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
Everybody loves a beautiful day in Edmonton. Hey, it's Jamie, and Green Drop Lawn Care is giving you one more reason to love the nice weather. Next Nice Day service. People always ask, how soon can Green Drop get here? Well, when you sign up with Next Nice Day service, we'll be there by tomorrow. Assuming Mother Nature cooperates, we'll be fertilizing and treating your weeds by the very next day. We'll even include Drought Fighter at no additional cost. Just another reason we have been Canada's lawn experts since 1979. Easy online signups only at greendrop.com. For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots. Handcrafted in Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots with replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Ariat, Justin, and Red Wing made in China when Canadian-made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the two best names in the boots business.
Every coach needs a game plan. Plan your fantasy frenzy with Halley and Douglas right here on Edmonton's Sports 1440.
Presented by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
$11:43. Welcome back to Fantasy Frenzy here on Sports 1440. Connor Halley, Brandon Douglas, Josh Fenwick with you here. Brought to you by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, the home of Alberta's best beef jerky. Online at wilhaukbeefjerky.com. I don't know what we're watching right now. It's top plays.
Top defensive plays.
Top defensive. Troy Polamalu against the Titans, leaping over the line. Man, he was so dang good. Oh, now we're to baseball.
web gems.
Oh,
that hurt. I bet.
Who's the really good player for 1 year with the Orioles? Chris Davis?
Sure.
He got like absolutely paid and then it just kind of disappeared. That's the key. Have one really good year.
Who was the guy on the Angels that did that?
Josh Hamilton?
No.
He had a lot of good years.
Still on the team. Yeah. Joe Adell.
Joe Adell? Oh, now cricket? I bet you could have a sick highlight reel
Climbs
of
the ladder.
cricket catches, one hand. Oh, Jadeveon Clowney. That made him the first overall pick.
Regrettably.
Let's get back to the text. Actually, no. Let's first let you know what's coming up following our show. We'll stop commenting on live TV. It'll be the Lowdown with Low Tide. Kevin McCurdy will be by. Of course, they'll look at the Oilers. You've got Duncan with Declan and Jamin with Josh looking at the NBA. And then Low Tide is going to talk about new coaches and the impact on young players. That's going to run from noon to 2. 2 o'clock, we got the Jason Greger Show. Mike Rupp will be by. We've got Kevin Woodley of InGoal Magazine, talk some goaltending ahead of the conference finals. Jason Strudwick, Speck, Cam Tate, 5 questions. So lots to get to here. And then at 6 o'clock, if you're listening on the radio, we'll go to the Jays and Yankees game. If you're streaming, you got Fox Sports Radio, The Odd Couple. So lots going on here on Sports 1440 today. We do appreciate you guys joining us. A lot of texts rolling in here. Where do we want to go back to, Duke? How about HB Sandy Beach? The bro Hollywood thing. The biggest ingredient was that their agent had shopped them to St. Louis and others. Well, I mean,
I think the biggest ingredient was that they weren't signed.
Yeah. The Oilers as a whole,
which they were eligible to do from January 1st onwards.
A couple GMs and Jackson, who was sitting in the role. You know, there's a group. No one signed them. Oilers could have handled their business. They didn't. They went elsewhere on free agency. And it kind of sucks for them now because those 2 players turning into very good players out in St. Louis, but it is what it is. Do you guys think that a player like Mason Marchment would come? Do you think Mason Marchment contract would come to Edmonton?
Well, he's
I don't
a
know why
UFA.
the contract was dropped in there, but he's got a little bite to his game, hey?
Yeah, a little bit of a pest. Coming off a $4.5 million deal that he had signed in Seattle, traded to Columbus this year.
Had back-to-back 22-goal seasons.
And sorry, he actually signed that with Dallas. I forgot they traded him. He was a bit of a cap casualty for the Stars. Traded to Seattle. So correction there.
Yeah. Then to Columbus this year. Hard to say, really.
19 goals, was banged up, missed quite a bit of time with injury. Scored 20 goals in the 2 seasons consecutive prior to that. He's a good, like, middle 6 player, third line player, ideally, in a world where, you know, your third line has some size and some bite. What kind of price is he going to command? It's a good question.
30 years old, probably trying to get that last deal.
I could see him coming back around a similar price tag. $4.5 million. Is that too low?
I think so.
20 goal guy.
And I think with the cap going up.
With size, speed, little grit. Yeah, you're probably right. It's probably on the low side.
I think that the agencies now, like, these are the guys who I think are going to be making more money. The top end players are always going to be the top end, but I think the players like I think will get a little bit of a pay raise. And we'll have to see, you know, is that what he wants? Does he want to cash in? Does he want to go to a team that could contend? Nikki Northside texting in saying, we can't be making enemies with Buffalo. They have 3 decent goalies. We could hope to snag off one of them. So don't be throwing offer sheets that way. That's funny. And maybe not a bad way to look at it. Northside loses. Dickinson won't sign here. He wants his last home run contract, and the Oilers won't and shouldn't pay him that. Okay. There's a funny one from Kyle. That was one of the worst trade proposals I've ever seen.
And I want to clarify, too, because it was Jay and Victoria that texted in. He said it's kind of silly season, right? And the internet is run amok with trade proposals, and every fan account has got their ways to fix the Oilers offseason. That is where he saw that. That was not his trade proposal. I'm not trying to throw Jay out and Victoria under the bus. He said, I heard the most ridiculous one today.
Yeah.
Peterson for Nurse. So he was at least acknowledging how crazy it is. But the fact that somebody threw that out there as a plausible notion speaks to how, I don't know if desperate is too aggressive of a word that some Oilers fans are maybe getting here to try and right the ship after a disappointing first-round playoff exit. It's not like they missed the playoffs, not like they're back in the lottery. They just lost in the first round amid some pretty bad injury trouble to the team and just didn't kind of bring their A game.
Greater Man Jay pointing out Marchand was the same kid that broke Hyman's wrist. That was a pretty fluky play. I don't think there would be any bad blood. The regulator says, hey guys, hypothetical situation. Hypothetical. I want to underline that. Say Toronto approaches Edmonton to talk to Knobloch. Do they have a conversation with him that if they get Cassidy permission, then they give permission to talk to him, and in return, you get permission and a 4th round pick?
That is hypothetical.
That's very hypothetical.
Well, the reports are, and this is from our friend Ryan Rashog, and I think some others on it as well, that apparently Chris Knobloch's not super interested in getting right back into the scene. The fact that he's got 3 years of security with this deal that has had yet to kick in to be head coach of the Oilers for financial side of things, relocating to Edmonton. These are Rashog's reports that he's not in much of a rush to be getting back into a head coaching job, whether it be Toronto or elsewhere.
I would have no issue sitting back and just taking the money for a year. Like
if you're Chris Knobloch.
Yeah.
I
mean, you love hockey. It's always going to be there, but like for a year, maybe sitting away, collecting that paycheck, spend time with your kids. I wouldn't fault him at all. Lucas says, we got Cassian and Manning after they hurt Oilers. Marchment hurt Hyman, so it fits. Yeah, I remember when Cassian signed with the Oilers or traded, everyone can't do it. And then a month or two later, okay, we like him now. Manning, probably not quite as much. Didn't have the impact as that Cassian did. Cassian will always be a legend for the 2017 playoffs. Did have a text here just asking about what we think the Oilers or the Buffalo Sabres will do with Bowen Byram. That's an interesting one, Duke, because he'll be 25 and unrestricted free agent. The Sabres will have just over 19 million wrapped up in Dahlin and Power. I'm a big fan of Bowen Byram, so I'm a little bit biased here, but I think he could potentially price himself out. I think they do have to be smart here with what they do with Zach Benson, what they do with
Krebs,
what they do with
Alex Tuch.
Alex Tuch is probably the big one, right? I think they have to be very, very smart in the steps they take here to try not to lose Bowen Byram and have him price himself out of Buffalo. And if he was available, dude, that's the guy I'd be all hands on deck. I like him.
Hear me out. And if we're just, focusing on the Sabres here for a second. Josh Norris has a 10-team no-trade list that kicks in next year. Would you be open to exploring a new partner for Josh Norris in return for freeing up his just under $8 million of cap space to maybe keep more of these other guys in the fold? And he traded Dylan Cousins, who is, top-end pick for Norris, who is productive, but has a very hard time staying healthy in his NHL career. Played just 44 games this past season at 34 points. Is that an avenue that you would look at if you're Buffalo, or do you say, well, that just creates another problem because now we need a number 2 centerman? They've still got a pretty decent cachet of guys in the system. Do you think that maybe some internal promotion could fill that for them? Maybe not in the immediate. Maybe you get a cheaper veteran type player to fill in there if you found a partner for Norris.
So here's just quickly. The new league year starts July 1st, right?
Yes.
That's when Norris is.
And even then, it's still just a 10-team list, but it obviously gives you less flexibility if you're Buffalo.
I think I'd be all over it. Because he's battled some injuries, right?
Yeah. Now, are you kind of continuing to trade a slightly diminishing asset? Like you traded your former lottery pick and Cousins for him. Now you're trading him kind of just to get the money off the books. But are you confident in the rest of your roster that you don't need to get a huge type return, and it gives you the flexibility to bring back Alex Tuch get Byram signed to an extension once he becomes eligible at the turn of this year.
Isn't it funny how like so much has changed for them in 6 months?
Oh,
we're like
insane.
Blow it up, rebuild.
Yeah, trade everyone.
Now it's like, how do we keep these guys? That's life in the NHL. Well, thank you guys for the text. Apologies if we didn't get to them. A few too many rolled in, but the good news is Low Tide coming up next. He's got 2 hours, so he can get to all of your texts. Keep them rolling. 1-833-401-1440. For the Duke and Josh, I'm Connor Halley. If you guys missed anything, go check the podcast or head over to Sports 1440 AM on YouTube. Give the video a thumbs up and you can watch it all over again. Right now, let's get to a Sports 1440 update with Brandon Douglas, brought to you by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky, online at wilhaukbeefjerky.com, only available in Leduc.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Stanley Cup Playoffs Western Conference Final getting underway tonight from Denver. Avalanche taking on the Golden Knights. Puck drop coming just after 6 o'clock Mountain Time. No Cale Makar for Colorado and no Mark Stone expected for Vegas's lineup either. PWHL Walter Cup Finals resuming tonight. Montreal touting a 2-1 series lead over Ottawa. This gets underway just after 5 o'clock from our nation's capital. With a win, Montreal can clinch their first league championship in team history. Off the ice, league announcing its finalists for this year's Defender of the Year award. Golden Eyes' Sophie Jacques and Boston's Megan Keller and Haley Wynn topping the ballot list. IHF World Championships this morning. Switzerland blanked Austria at 9-0. The Czechs came back to beat Italy 3-1. And still to come, the United States will play Germany. Sweden taking on Slovenia in the association. Game number 2 of the Western Conference Final from Oklahoma City with the Thunder trailing the Spurs 1-0 tip-off at 6:30 from OKC. And in the majors today, the Blue Jays continue their set in the Bronx against the Yankees. It'll be Trey Savage on the bump for Toronto. Cam Schlittler countering for New York. First pitch just after 5 o'clock. You can catch that game right here on Sports 1440. Joined in progress at the conclusion of the Jason Gregor Show. Elsewhere around the majors, plenty of action, including 3 games underway. Reds lead the Phillies 3-1 in the top of the third. Also top 3, Orioles and Rays tied at 1. Scoreless between the Astros and Twins in the bottom of the first. And still to come, Mariners hosting the White Sox. Athletics in Anaheim against the Angels, and the Dodgers take on the Padres. Coming up on Sports 1440, it is the Lowdown with Low Tide. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
Yes, it's Sports 1440.